He's won more Grand Slam titles than any other male tennis player. He's a former world #1, and he is often referred to as the greatest tennis player of all time. Rafa is one of the most famous tennis players in the world and easily recognizable wherever he goes. With armies of followers, hundreds of dedicated fan pages, and with almost everything he does ending up in the tabloids, you'd think that there is nothing not to know about the Spanish superstar, but you'd be wrong. Here are 10 things you didn't know about Rafa Nadal. Well, probably 10. He's been accused of being OCD. When it comes to tennis, Rafa has been accused of being OCD. In fact, many doctors are 100% convinced he suffers from it. It's no secret that tennis players are renowned for having bizarre match rituals and superstitions. From demanding a particular lucky ball to wearing the same smelly socks without washing them. Dozens of other players are famous for their unique match quirks. But when it comes to watching Rafa, the game often plays out like clockwork. And I'm talking about every game. When Rafa arrives at each match, he plants his energy drink slightly in front of his water bottle with both labels perfectly facing the court. The positioning of the labels is very important for him, and the energy drink must always be placed ahead of the water bottle. At every change of ends, he straightens his 2 water bottles, ensuring they're perfectly aligned. Before each and every serve, he places his hair behind his ear and fiddles with his shorts. Basically a bit of ball shuffling, and he doesn't care that the whole world can see. No wonder he has such a large following. And after every single point, Rafa towels himself even if he isn't sweaty. It's an interesting line of behavior that's often led him to be accused of deliberately wasting time to distract his opponents. In fact, during a match at the Australian Open in 2020, Nick Kyrgios mimicked Rafa when the chair umpire gave him a time violation. While playing against France's Gilles Simon, the Australian tennis player pretended to tuck his hair behind his ears and picked at his underwear following the violation, mimicking Rafa's habits. Of course, one of Rafa's most infamous courtside habits involved the specific placement of his water bottles. In September 2019, he appeared to get frustrated when a ball person placed a 3rd water bottle in his area as he played against Croatia's Marin Cilic. Similarly, the Spaniard was involved in an incident with a ball person in 2020 during his match with Nick Kyrgios. When a ball person accidentally moved an object, believed to be one of his water bottles at his courtside bench, Rafa protested, leading to a number of boos from the Australian Open crowd. Rafa gave strict instructions to the ball boy not to touch something, which prompted tennis great John McEnroe, who was commentating the match, to say, "Oh my God, someone touched something. What an outrage. Seriously, Rafa, lighten up, dude. Life is too short." 9. He's afraid of dogs. Worrying about the position of his water bottles is one thing, but worrying about dogs coming within 10 feet of him is taking things to another level. For a man who clearly feels no fear on the tennis court, he fears dogs, even saying in his 2010 autobiography, "I doubt their intentions." Not sure what he means by that. He doubts their intentions. Come on, Rafa. They are just animals. They just want to be friends. Perhaps he needs a starter dog. Can you just imagine Rafa carrying around a toy poodle? I know I can. He has admitted that he is not the most courageous person. He even said, "I am not the most courageous guy in the world outside of the court." Apparently he is frightened of being alone in the dark. These are his words, and has been known to sleep on his sofa with the television on. He is also a very cautious driver. He freely admits to driving very slowly. Kind of strange considering most of the cars he owns are supercars. During the first 2 years after he learned to drive, he said that he was so-so. He admits to being dangerous at the time, but now he is not, he said. But he still drives slowly. He is fearful therefore about what might happen if he does drive fast. And he is cautious. Rafa, maybe you should just stick to be driven around by someone else. Which is probably the case anyway. I think he feels a bit frightened of the outside world, by which I mean the world outside that enclosed world which is the tennis court. The tennis court is an unreal world, a world that he controls. But you cannot control the world outside, the real world. 8. Accused of taking drugs. Now this next point is quite controversial. When you play sport at such a high level, drugs can always come into play, and tennis is no exception. And as a result, Rafa has been accused of taking performance-enhancing drugs on many occasions throughout his career. Although this point has never been proven, Rafa has always been under permanent suspicion. But as you will see later on in this video, he did actually take drugs, but was allowed to get away with it. In an interview with Sport 1, the renowned doping expert, Fritz Sergel, raises serious accusations against the former #1 in the world. Tennis is in the top 4 when it comes to doping. Anabolic steroids are the classic, explains the professor from Nuremberg. The reason for this is the intensity of the sport and the resulting strain on the players. When asked which of the big tennis players he suspected of being doped, Sergel mentioned above all an athlete, and none other than our favorite Spanish player. The German professor had a permanent suspicion against him. He has shown some abnormalities regarding regeneration and all of its athletics. Anabolic substances would be the candidates here. The Spanish tennis player is repeatedly confronted with doping allegations, but also actively defends himself against those who accuse him of taking illicit substances. Whether he does or doesn't, make up your own mind. 7. When he actually did take drugs, but it was okay. But then we can't forget when he actually did take drugs, but thought it was fine, because they were for therapeutic purposes. This was as a result of the Fancy Bears leak. He wasted no time in coming out to defend himself in response to information leaked by Russian hacking group Fancy Bears, which detailed the therapeutic use exemption, which the Spaniard was granted at 2 different points in his career. If I have taken anything at any point during my career, it was because I asked for and was given permission to do so. Under that premise, it is not illegal, Rafa said. Never in my life have I taken anything to enhance my performance. It is simply that doctors granted permission for me to take a product to help my knee. On both occasions when Rafa was given an exemption, he was not competing and out of the game for lengthy spells. He added that the situation hasn't created any distress for him personally, apart from the media storm. The only distress is that all of this is being published in newspapers. It gets very boring and tiresome. There's no need for this demagoguery. The hackers shouldn't be revealing these things as though it's some big secret. I've always said the same. There's no need for a hacker to come along and publish a private tissue. If the results from every doping control were published, all of these discussions wouldn't happen. It would be completely transparent. Now, whether he takes drugs for therapeutic purposes at a time when he is not playing, if they are banned substances, then surely it doesn't matter when you take them. 6. He still uses the same old design tennis racket. Nadal is the poster boy for the Barbola Pure Aero, one of the best-selling rackets currently on the market. Take a trip to any public tennis courts on a summer's day, and you will see at least one of them in use. However, like most top players, while Rafa's racket might sport the same design as the latest Pure Aero, he's actually using a pro stock racket, the Barbola Pro Drive Original. He has used this racket since 2004, and the only changes he has made to it over the years have been the addition of some weight. Barbola does not make that racket any longer. They paint his racket to look like the newest model of the line. 5. He was killed. Well, supposedly. Yes, you heard that correctly. News of tennis player Rafael Nadal's death spread quickly earlier this week, causing concern among fans across the world. However, the June 2022 report has now been confirmed as a complete hoax and just the latest in a string of fake celebrity death reports. Thankfully, the 36-year-old tennis player is not dead. Rumors of the tennis player's alleged demise gained traction on Tuesday after a rest in peace Rafael Nadal Facebook page attracted nearly 1 million of likes. Those who read the About page were given a believable account of the Spanish tennis player's passing. At about 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, June 7, 2022, our beloved tennis player Rafa passed away. Rafa was born on June 3, 1986. He will be missed, but not forgotten. Please show your sympathy and condolences by commenting on and liking this page. Hundreds of fans immediately started writing their messages of condolence on the Facebook page, expressing their sadness that the talented 36-year-old tennis player was dead. And as usual, Twitter sphere was frenzied over the death hoax. Whereas some trusting fans believed the post, others were immediately skeptical of the report, perhaps learning their lesson from the huge amount of fake death reports emerging about celebrities over recent months. Some pointed out that the news had not been carried on any major Spanish network, indicating that it was a fake report, as the death of a tennis player of his stature would be major news across networks. A recent poll conducted for the Celebrity Post shows that a large majority, 73% of respondents, think those Rafa rumors are not funny anymore. On Wednesday, June 8th, the tennis player's reps officially confirmed that he is not dead. He joins the long list of celebrities who have been victimized by this hoax. He's still with us and well. Stop believing what you see on the internet, they said. Some fans have expressed anger at the fake report, saying it was reckless, distressing, and hurtful to fans of the much-loved tennis player. Others say this shows his extreme popularity across the globe. 4. He has been accused of playing dirty. Yes, it seems that Rafa also can play dirty. Let me explain. When you want to win, you may be willing to break the rules a bit. Rafa's tardiness and obsessive rituals between games may be his way to slow the game down and upset his rivals, but they are not illegal, and he knows it. That is why he uses these tactics. Some would call it unsportsmanlike, while others will say you have to do whatever it takes to win, so long as you're not breaking the rules. Denis Shapovalov certainly doesn't approve. Denis's corrupt outburst at umpire Carlos Bernardes was triggered by Rafa being late off his chair at the start of the second set, when the Canadian was ready to serve. Shapovalov fumed again at the beginning of the set's second game for the same reason. It is fair to say that Rafa has always been happy to play at his own pace and often keeps opponents waiting, right from when the players walk out. One reason for the delays are the obsessive rituals that he observes, and which aid his phenomenal concentration. Famously, he likes to pick at his undershorts. But that is not all. Did I say undershorts? I meant to say his briefs. Maybe he needs to loosen things up down there. Before each serve he wipes his nose and clears his brow and ears of sweat. He also likes to pull at his shirt around the shoulders. Are these simply time-wasting tactics? None of this is illegal, but it is his constant delays that some opponents find grating. While officials make allowances for long rallies and heat, the tennis rulebook states, as a principle, play should be continuous. That is not the case with Rafa's style of play. 3. He's got small hands. Something else you might not know about the tennis superstar is that he has small hands. Actually, that is not entirely correct. It is the fact that he prefers a much smaller grip on his rackets than most other players. Rafa is known for his powerful shots and fast footwork. What most people don't know is that he prefers a smaller grip on his tennis racket than most other players. His smaller grip allows him to generate more power with his strokes and make the ball go faster. In tennis, there is a saying that size doesn't matter. Rafa, one of the greatest players of all time, has embraced this philosophy by preferring a smaller grip than most. This small grip allows him to generate more power and control with his shots, which has helped him become one of the best ever. 2. He could have been a footballer. Coming in at number 2 is the fact that Rafa could have been an elite footballer instead of a tennis champion. Jose Mourinho once revealed Rafa could have been a professional soccer player. The former Chelsea and Manchester United boss worked with his uncle Miguel Angel Nadal during their days together at Barcelona in the 1990s. Mourinho was employed as a translator before becoming an assistant boss at Nou Camp under Sir Bobby Robson and Louis van Gaal. He knew the Nadal family well, is a big tennis fan, and is often spotted at Wimbledon and Queens. When asked about Rafa's tennis achievements, Mourinho lifted the lid on his footballing skills, revealing, "He is incredible. I am happy he did it. But he could also have been a fantastic football player. His uncle was my player in Barcelona in 1996. I know that Rafa can play football and well, so he could have played with his athletic ability, mentality, and his skill, too. Thank goodness for tennis he didn't play soccer." Now for number 1 on our list. I'm sure I'm going to get eaten up in the comments section for this. But I've done my research, and I am confident with my findings. 1. Rafa's wife refuses to attend his matches. Well, lately that's the case. Let me explain. Of late, his wife doesn't attend his matches. Now I don't know about you, but I find that kind of strange. After all, many other top tennis players have their spouses or significant others attend their matches for moral support. So why does Rafa's wife stay away? Well, you may get shocked when you hear the reason why. His wife has admitted she doesn't attend his tennis matches as there's a risk they will start arguing in public due to the intense pressure of the situation. She has admitted they tend to argue when he is facing intense competition, and it could be detrimental to their relationship. She said he needs his space when he is competing, and just the idea of me hanging around and waiting on his needs all day tires me out. It would asphyxiate me, and then he would have to be worrying about me. No, she explained how she thought if she did attend, it would put them at risk. She also went on to say, "If I followed him everywhere, I think there's a risk we might stop getting along." So there you have it. The 10 things you didn't know about Rafa, but now you do. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Take care and see you again soon.